Okay, everybody, before this video starts, I have to tell you a new announcement. This podcast will be completely different than the other ones so far. We will not be having as many transitions in this, and also we will be having gameplay in the background that I recorded since I just now got my capture card, and also my editing would be a little bit different because I just got Sony Vegas. I used to use Movie Maker. So now you might get some like little green screen effects, like this one.
I don't like your tone.
And stuff like that. So you'll probably have more enjoyment of these ones because they'll be a little more well edited since I was using Movie Maker before. So yeah, enjoy the video, and also like and subscribe if you like it. Next up is the Millennium era. This era is very mixed with people. I'm personally for it. What about you guys?
I like a lot of the movies in it.
Yeah.
Like, I know even you say the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla.
Sorry.
Or
Godzilla,
Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. You say that's like the worst movie in this era, but I actually really like that movie. Like, it's, I don't know, it's a good movie. I think like it's got some weird spots in it.
Like how he jumps in midair.
Yeah, there's like a 5-minute sequence of just Godzilla like fighting little bugs and with no context at all.
Well, let's save this for the review of that film.
Okay. Yeah.
Next up is Godzilla 2000, which wasn't released in 2000. It was released in 1999. Let's talk about that amazing 90s CGI in the film.
Orga before he's a big monster, he's just like some really... He's a jellyfish. He's a giant jellyfish floating around, basically. Well, he's a disc.
His disc and
rock
he turns into a stupid-looking jellyfish.
A jellyfish that flies around in... Yeah. It's weird.
That awful 90s CGI.
Yeah, and then how does he turn into the actual Orga?
I think he like sucks some of Godzilla's DNA.
Yeah, and then he. Oh, I'll never forget this part. I watched this with you, Aiden, and when Orga's mouth opens up huge, and he just starts eating Godzilla. That was kind of weird, and. He
started growing spikes.
He's basically absorbing Godzilla, and he starts growing his spikes and turning greenish like Godzilla in this.
Even though Godzilla isn't green.
Well, he is in the Millennium area.
Kind of.
He is, sort of. If you see him in Mechagodzilla, he's green. Sorry, I keep bringing up Mechagodzilla.
Also, let's talk about the best day in the movie. Godzilla.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, the end of the movie was weird because like there was like some like guy who was like a business owner or something, and he was kind of seen as like the
bad guy
like the bad guy, the human bad guy. And like I remember after Godzilla kills Orga, he's just kind of like sitting on the building.
Oh, that's what I was talking about with Godzilla.
Yeah, smoking a cigarette, and then like suddenly Godzilla comes up to him. And then just breaks the building. Like, what? It made no sense at all. And that's how he dies. But he only breaks the spot where that dude was standing. So everybody else in the building survives.
Because they run down.
I did not get the ending of that movie. Like, it was just kind of like, oh crap, not enough people have died. Let's just kill off this one dude. Like...
Next is Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla or Gearus.
Yeah.
Or
Dragonfly. Big Dragonfly.
And surprisingly, this movie is actually a remake.
Of what?
It's a remake, technically, without this character, Rodan. Because you know how there's those weird bug things at the beginning of Rodan?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Mechagodzilla.
Wow.
So,
I remember. Okay, so I actually watched this movie pretty recently, like a month or two ago, actually. But when we went to the library and got a bunch of movies, including Shin Godzilla, and this is one of the movies that we watched. But it was like they were testing some like black hole device to suck up Godzilla.
Yeah, black hole gun, and that's definitely not how black holes work.
Yeah, they suck up they suck up a building.
The entire Earth.
And then a dragonfly goes
out
with it.
Yeah, and Mechagodzilla is formed.
And that's where Mechagodzilla comes from.
Yeah, and
it's kind of weird.
Let's talk about the funniest death scene in all of Godzilla history.
Is it the one where he sits down and starts drinking a beer or something, and then the thing eats him?
Well, he's... As a kid, we all thought it was a Twinkie, but now when you watch it, it's like chips. Mm-hmm. It's kind of awkward, because as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, he's got killed while eating a Twinkie!
Yeah.
Hostess, why are you doing this to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
But now I realize it's just chips.
Also, okay, again, I watched this movie recently. This was the Millennium, right?
Yeah.
It's worse than 90s CGI. Like, the CGI in this movie is awful.
Yeah. Did they
like,
make
the whole scene where all the dragonflies are, like, fighting Godzilla, like the little ones, and then the scene, where the dude gets killed eating a Twinkie, and the thing's, like, on the building, it's, like, it's so bad. It does not look,
Speaking of CGI, and also to do, like, a little switch over, let's talk about how great the CGI is in the next film.
Oh, God.
Giant monsters all out attack, or if you want to make the video about 15 minutes longer, Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, poor Baragon.
Doesn't make it in
the
title.
Get in the title.
Giant monsters all out attack, or GMK. It all depends on which way you want to say it.
Baragon's one of my favorite monsters, even though he's like in 2 movies and dies right away in both of them.
This is probably my favorite film in the Millennium era.
Although it looks nothing like the Millennium Godzilla.
Yeah, and Godzilla's fat.
Oh, yeah. He looks like a grandpa.
Oh, I do remember this one death scene in the movie. It's either right before or right after he fights Baragon. The lady's sitting in the hospital.
That's before.
Okay, yeah, Godzilla's walking towards her. She's like, she's got a broken leg. She's like trying to fasten herself, I guess.
Yeah, she was the survivor of the...
Godzilla's tail.
She was the survivor of the Godzilla attack.
Okay, and Godzilla walks past, and then she's like, woo! And then his tail comes up and smashes the building.
Yeah, Godzilla... I like the design in this film, and I like Godzilla's first appearance, because the miniatures in this film are a lot better than they are in most of the other films.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the Baragon versus Godzilla fight scene, where they have like a miniature cliff set up. It's really good. It looks really real.
Yeah.
They did a good job in this one.
And Mothra is a lot more realistic looking in this film.
This was actually a really good movie. Like, especially, but it was weird in some spots, because King Ghidorah, I think this is the first time where King Ghidorah was a good guy.
Yeah.
And King Ghidorah was considered like an ancient hero, right? Because I remember when they find him, some dude goes in a cave.
And they find this book thing.
And they find like a book.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
The way that they find him, this guy is about to kill himself.
Oh.
And the ground falls from under him, and it's in a cave. He like screams, Ghidorah!
No, he doesn't. He thinks it's Godzilla. He sees Ghidorah's face like frozen in crystal, and he's like, Godzilla!
And let me just say, this film has some of the best human characters in a Godzilla film, because you can actually kind of care about them. Wow, if you like watch
Shin Godzilla.
There's
literally no character development at all.
Yeah, because they have too many characters in that film.
Everyone's a main killer.
We'll get to that.
Is the characters are much more developed than they are in like Invasion of the Astro Monster or what is the other one that's really bad? All Monsters Attack. With the kid humping the car.
Oh yeah.
Wait, was that the All Monsters Attack? What was the movie where he gets transported?
That's All Monsters.
Yeah, but it's like he goes in like a train and suddenly goes on like an acid trip and everything turns.
It's a plane.
Oh yeah. And
it's like an imaginary
everything
thing.
turns rainbow, and like he's suddenly in the world of Godzilla, and baby Godzilla's like, I'm taking through my world.
Because he's like imagining.
Yeah, that was a weird movie.
And he learned life lessons from baby Godzilla and Godzilla.
Yeah. Anyway, back to what movie were we on?
GMK.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
This is the highest reviewed out of all the Millennium films, and I would agree with that.
And I think this movie had a really good ending. How like it not only attached you to the characters, but the monsters also. Because I remember it was Baragon died early on because he sucks, except for the fact that he's a good monster. But poor Baragon. But Godzilla kills Mothra and gravely injures King Ghidorah. But then the spirit of Mothra like possesses King Ghidorah and like mega powers him up. Like he becomes huge all of a sudden. And that was just a really memorable part, I think. And then he destroys Godzilla. But yeah, you know.
Since we kind of forgot to do this because this film is so forgettable. You ready? 1998.
Oh yeah.
I actually do not remember this at all.
98 is such an awful film.
Godzilla doesn't walk like a and like he runs like a velociraptor.
There isn't much to say about that one, except for the fact that like I'm putting this in the Millennium era because it's not exactly in the Heisei, but it's not exactly in either. It's kind of in between.
Let's say bad era.
It's just an awful film, and let's talk. And the animated, we have to talk about the animated series.
Oh yeah.
That came with this film. The animated series was pretty good.
Yeah.
While the film, I cannot say the same for because.
Oh, okay, suddenly I know what you're talking about. All right, yeah. This is American.
Matthew Broderick is so, he plays that typical 90s character where it's just like this nerd.
Yeah, he's like a nerd and nobody loves him, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, the government hires him to like save the world or something because he knows how to make worms grow. That was literally why they hired him, because he used radiation to like make worms grow. It was weird.
And the build-up in this film is really good.
Yeah, the build-up's really good, and then Godzilla appears, and you're like,
it's all CGI.
Yeah, it's all
Godzilla.
CGI. Also, doesn't Godzilla breathe like actual fire?
Yeah.
But only once.
Yeah, it's just one scene.
And it's not even like a big part. It's like the taxi turns the corner, he breathes fire. It's a she actually in this movie.
Yeah.
Taxi turns the corner, she breathes fire.
That's it.
And then that's it. Like you see fire for like 2 seconds and it's over.
Also, there's that awful 90s CGI, and apparently, Roland Emmerich did not want to make this film. He wanted to make a Jurassic Park movie.
That explains a lot. Especially the fact... Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, since this movie's so forgettable, but I remember a scene where Godzilla lays eggs in a building somehow.
He does.
Yeah.
Godzilla lays eggs in a building, and they hatch?
Yeah.
Don't they chase the main characters or something?
And the baby Godzillas in that film, you know what they're supposed to look like?
What?
The Velociraptors from Jurassic Park.
Again, explains a lot. Also, okay, I also remember this. Godzilla climbs a building like King Kong, sits on the top, goes like, and then
he dies by missiles.
Yeah. Also, he hides in the subways. What? It's Godzilla.
Godzilla.
In actual Godzilla movies, his tail is as round as the subway itself. How does he fit in the subway?
And also, Toho was so angry at this film that they bought the rights to the character and took the god out of Godzilla.
Yeah.
And named him Zilla, because that's what they felt the film did. They took the god out of Godzilla.
Yeah. Also, we were talking about this movie more than any other movie, but what? Yeah, the advertising for this movie. What they would do, they would put like a billboard, say like, his foot is as big as this billboard or something, or like on like trains they'd say like his hand is as big as this train, like that. It was they did a good job advertising this movie.
And talk about your guys' previous thoughts on that film.
Oh yeah, I used to love it.
Before I was like really into Godzilla, I loved this movie. I have no idea why. It was just like I was like, oh, this is cool. Like Godzilla's attacking New York, you know, and he's like big and scary. And I remember, okay, obviously I wasn't born when this movie came out, but it was like I would see the ads for it in like other movies that I would watch from that time period, and I was like, oh, I want to see this, because I remember the one I always saw was when everybody's running down the street and you just see like a building being destroyed and you see like a hand, and I'm like, oh, I need to see this movie right now. And that scene happens in the movie, and a lot of like it was weird.
It's like 3 seconds.
It's like 3 seconds, yeah. But I do, okay, the way they made Godzilla appear was weird also, because it was
awful
like
90s CGI.
Yeah, awful 90s CGI. Some dude's fishing. Dude is fishing, and he's like some old guy, and like all of his friends are making fun of him, like, oh, you're not gonna catch anything. He's like, I got a big one, and then like you see his spikes come up, and it's like, it's like a bump in the water. It doesn't look like spikes coming out of the water. It's like a bump in the water, and then he appears and throws a boat onto the highway. And
yeah.
It was weird. It was a weird movie. Alright, I think we've talked about it for long enough now.
Next up is Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, because they don't redo the titles.
How many Mechagodzilla movies are there now?
3.
Actually,
basically 4.
We've reviewed 3 so far. Actually 4 so far. But there is one more.
Oh.
This was where Godzilla had white spikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And wasn't Mechagodzilla like had the skeleton of Godzilla 1954?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The problem I had with this film is so forgettable.
I don't even remember it.
Because I always got this film confused with Tokyo SOS. Because
another forgettable movie.
Well, I like Tokyo SOS personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this and Tokyo SOS have the best Mechagodzilla design.
Yeah.
Because, or it's not Mechagodzilla, it's Kiryu.
Oh yeah.
Which I used to thought was Kirby.
Kirby.
Because I was obsessed with that game, so I always thought it was Kirby. But this is the first film with Kiryu, and Kiryu, or Kirby, as I would say as a kid, is kind of the strongest, I would say. He has like, if I remember correctly, in the games he would like not have knives for hands.
Yeah, he had knives for hands. Or was it drills for hands? I forget. I feel like it was drills.
No, we had one hand was a drill. Wasn't it like one hand was a drill?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say. Tokyo SOS. Let's just go to Tokyo SOS. The second movie with Kiryu. It stars Mothra, Godzilla, and Kiryu or Kirby. And it's basically the same as Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, but with Mothra. So that's basically the only difference. And also, Kiryu dies.
Yep.
Even though he wasn't a living thing.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. He had Godzilla inside of him. And Godzilla is, for some reason, I think, really weak in this film. I think this is that Mechagears with the lady with the missile going, ah!
Oh yeah, in the beginning, but it doesn't do anything to him.
Yeah. Next up would be Final Wars.
Oh, I watched that so many times.
Okay, see, this was like This was I think the first movie in a long time that was in American theaters, like when it came out.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
I think it's okay, honestly. But, like, the monsters don't get enough screen time. Obviously, Godzilla gets a lot of screen time, but every monster, they're like, oh, crap, we gotta recap the entire series by putting as many monsters as we can in. They did that, but they didn't do it
But they
good.
they did, like, the most, like...
No, okay, like, they did
memorable...
They did a few memorable monsters, but a lot of the monsters were, like...
2 seconds.
Just random monsters that were in, like, one movie, maybe, in the
Yeah,
entire
like,
series.
Hedorah and Ebra. Let's talk about
I forgot that those two were in the movie, but now that you...
They have such a short screen time.
It's like 5 seconds.
It's, one, Hedorah is many parts. That's one of the things I have to say.
Yeah.
And I don't think he should have been dead that easily because, one, it's been shown that Godzilla's fire blast does absolutely nothing to him. It doesn't kill him in his own film. And in Final Wars, he gets killed by the fire blast.
Huh. That does not make sense at all.
It does not fit canon-wise to the other film. And the best monster death scene of all time is in this film, which is Zilla versus Godzilla.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like this is Japan's way of saying...
You're bad.
Alright, yeah, okay. You took Godzilla, you ruined him. This is what we say to that. Like, it was... it was funny. It was really funny.
And the poodle monster reappears in this film.
Poodle monster.
King Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
And he dies. And...
That's pretty much the story of, like, all the monsters except for, like, 2, maybe? 2 or 3.
Gigan has probably the 2 funniest death scenes in this entire film, because...
He dies with his
what
head.
was the story of Gigan? Wasn't it like they were building him to, like, help Godzilla, but then he got, like, hacked or something?
Apparently he was, like, a giant version of the main characters, the mutants.
Yeah.
And, I find his backstory in this film really ridiculous, but as the best Gigan design, I would say.
Yeah, because he comes in 2 times.
One with his just, like, short arms, and then the other one with
his chainsaw arms, yeah.
And he kills himself both times, if I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
No.
He kills himself.
No, doesn't he throw the saw blade and, like, Godzilla dodges it and it comes back and hits him?
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, he gets killed by
that's how he dies.
Well, yeah, but that's not... Godzilla doesn't do that. The first time he dies, Godzilla gets wrapped in, like, wires, and then Godzilla blows his fire-breathing stuff and blows up Gigan's head. And the second time, Mothra is on fire and about to get saw blade, but she dodges them. And then Gigan turns around, but the saw blades come right back and slice Gigan's head off. And then right when his head falls apart, Mothra comes over because she's on fire and blows him up.
Another thing I have to say is that the poster art for this movie makes it like a combination of the Godzilla from GMK and with just regular eyes.
Yeah.
But
Godzilla had like pure orange eyes, right?
Yeah, they're orange.
This has one of the better Godzilla designs, I would say.
Yeah. It was good. It was like a mix of like Heisei and the older movies, you know? Yeah.
Now time for the final era. The modern era.
This is